Your exhaustion is profitable, and they're counting on you not to notice. Welcome to Soft Girl Era, the sacred space where strong Black women unlearn survival, rediscover softness, and reclaim the joy, rest, and freedom they deserve without guilt, without apology, and without explanation. I'm your host, LeAnne Dolce, pronounced Dolce, like sweet softness whispered in French, and I'm your guide from burnout to boundaries, from doing to being, from strong to soft, and loving every second of it. Today, I had the profound honor of sitting down with Tamara Smith, a visionary who is not just reshaping how Black professionals and entrepreneurs think about success. She's completely dismantling the toxic narratives that have kept us grinding ourselves into the ground for generations. Tamara is a force, a strategist, a truth teller who refuses to accept the lie that our worth is measured by our exhaustion. She's building a world where softness is strategy, where rest is resistance, and where Black women are finally free to lead without sacrificing themselves on the altar of productivity. The insights Tamara shared with me were nothing short of revolutionary, and I'm here to share them with you in a way that I hope will fundamentally shift how you see your own journey, your own ambition, and your own undeniable right to be soft. Let me start with a question that might make you deeply uncomfortable. What if everything you've been taught about success, about strength, about proving your worth is actually a lie designed to keep you exhausted, compliant, and profitable to systems that don't care if you survive? What if the very thing you think will save you, the hustle, the grind, the relentless push, is the exact thing that's slowly breaking you down, piece by piece, until there's nothing left but a shell of who you were meant to be? And what if the answer isn't to work harder, but to work softer? What if softness is the most radical, most disruptive, most powerful choice you could ever make? Tamara Smith brought me face to face with an idea that flipped everything I thought I knew. She said, softness is not a reward you earn after you've hustled yourself to the edge. Softness is a strategy, a leadership strategy, a business strategy, a life strategy. And for Black professionals and entrepreneurs, this is not just a nice idea, it's a matter of survival. It's a matter of reclaiming our humanity in a world that has commodified our pain, our labor, our endurance, and our silence. We've been taught that our value is proven through constant grind, emotional toughness, and overfunctioning. We've been told that if we just push a little harder, sacrifice a little more, carry a little heavier, we'll finally arrive. But arrive where? To burnout, to resentment, to a life where we've built everything except peace, to a version of success that looks impressive on paper but feels hollow in our bones. Tamara's perspective is this: embracing softness, rest, boundaries, emotional presence, and support is one of the most effective ways to grow sustainable businesses, lead powerfully, and protect our mental and physical health. Softness is not the opposite of ambition. It's how we preserve our ambition for the long game. It's how we stay alive, stay whole, stay human. And here's the part that really shook me, the part that made me sit back and rethink everything. Tamara said the strong Black woman myth isn't just personally harmful, it's structurally profitable. Workplaces and systems benefit from our unpaid emotional labor and overwork. When we reclaim softness, we're not just self caring, we're resisting exploitation and redesigning how we work and build. Let that sit with you for a moment. The world profits from your exhaustion. Your burnout is not a personal failure, it's a feature of the system. And when you choose softness, you're not being weak, you're being revolutionary. You're refusing to be used. You're reclaiming your time, your energy, your body, your mind, your soul. Tamara shared three key insights that I want you to hold close because these are the truths that will guide you into your own soft girl era. And these are the truths that will set you free. First, softness is a high performance strategy, not a weakness. Softness, rest, ease, emotional honesty, boundaries, these are business assets. They sharpen decision making, creativity, and leadership. When you stop performing superhuman strength and start honoring your limits, you become more strategic, not less driven. You become clearer. You become wiser. You become sustainable. You become the leader you were always meant to be, not the one you were forced to become to survive. Second, systems are designed to benefit from your burnout, so you must design your own softness. And many corporate cultures and even entrepreneurial spaces quietly rely on Black women saving the day and carrying the invisible load. You cannot wait for those systems to give you permission to rest, to delegate, or to say no. You have to intentionally design structures, policies, schedules, support where your softness is protected. You have to build a life that refuses to exploit you, even when the world around you is designed to do exactly that. Third, your liberation and success are collective, not just individual. Moving into your own soft girl era isn't just about you feeling better, though that matters deeply. When you normalize rest, boundaries, and support in your career or business, you create a blueprint for other Black professionals and entrepreneurs. Your shift has a ripple effect on your team, your clients, your family, and your community. Your softness gives other people permission to be soft. Your rest gives other people permission to rest. Your freedom creates a pathway for collective liberation. Now, let me show you what this looks like in real life, because these aren't just theories, these are movements. These are women who said enough and built something better. Let's talk about Trisha Hersey. Trisha is a Black woman theologian, artist, and activist who grew up on the South Side of Chicago as the daughter of a pastor and a factory worker. While in seminary and graduate school, she juggled parenting, multiple jobs, and full time study. The exhaustion and strain on her mental and physical health became unbearable. She was pushing herself through pain, through exhaustion, through every limit her body and mind tried to set, because that's what she was taught to do. That's what we're all taught to do. But instead of just pushing through, Trisha did something radical. She studied the history of Black labor and capitalism, and she connected her personal burnout to a much longer, much darker history of Black bodies being used for labor, exploited, commodified, and discarded. She saw that her exhaustion was not just hers, it was inherited, it was generational, it was systemic. In 2016, she founded the NAP Ministry in Atlanta, a space to decolonize rest. She created collective napping experiences, art installations, and workshops that centered rest as a right, not a luxury. She used spiritual, historical, and political framing to connect rest with liberation, particularly for descendants of enslaved Africans whose bodies and time were exploited for centuries. She encouraged tangible practices, scheduled rest, naps, refusing overwork, and examining internalized beliefs about constant productivity. The NAP ministry became a widely recognized movement, influencing how people, particularly Black women, talk about rest and burnout. Trisha's book, Rest is Resistance, became a bestseller and deepened the conversation around rest as a liberatory practice. Many Black professionals and entrepreneurs cite the NAP ministry as a catalyst for making concrete changes in their work life structure, like reducing work hours, building in rest days, and setting boundaries around emotional labor. The language of rest as resistance has spread into therapy spaces, diversity and inclusion work, and leadership conversations across industries. Tricia shifted the discourse on rest from self care to collective liberation, particularly for Black communities. She inspired Black professionals to see rest as a strategic and necessary component of sustainable leadership and entrepreneurship. She helped normalize the idea that rejecting overwork is not a lack of ambition, but a refusal to be exploited. She made rest political. She made rest powerful. She made rest sacred. Now let's look at the data because numbers don't lie, even when systems do. Regular reports from American Express and the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor show that Black women are among the fastest growing groups of entrepreneurs in the United States. We are starting businesses at rates that outpace nearly every other demographic. But at the same time, numerous qualitative studies document high levels of stress and burnout due to overwork, undercapitalization, and multiple caregiving roles. Black women entrepreneurs started businesses at high rates, but often with limited access to capital, resulting in longer hours and heavier personal financial risk. Many were socialized to do it all without adequate support, handling operations, marketing, client work, and caregiving all at the same time, all without help, all without rest. Harvard Business Review and other sources highlight that Black women leaders face disproportionate emotional labor, code switching, and pressure to represent their race and gender at work, all feeding burnout. Internalized strong Black woman narratives pushed many to push through exhaustion instead of designing for sustainability. But here's what changed. Across interviews and profiles in these reports, Black women entrepreneurs who sustained and grew their businesses implemented boundaries around working hours and client access. No late night calls, clear scopes, fewer rush jobs. They hired small teams or outsourced tasks like bookkeeping, admin, and social media instead of continuing to carry everything alone. They shifted business models toward higher value, lower volume offerings, premium services, retainers, digital products to decrease grind. They adopted wellness and rest practices, scheduled breaks, mental health care, vacations, as non negotiable business policies. They leveraged networks and mentorship to access capital, partnerships, and emotional support, reducing isolation. The outcomes were clear. The American Express 2019 report notes that Black women owned businesses grew rapidly in number, and those that stabilized often did so by refining their models and systems, not simply working harder. Data shows many Black women entrepreneurs are driven by opportunity, not just necessity. And those who align their work with personal well being goals report higher satisfaction. Entrepreneurs who adopted boundaries, support, and rest practices reported lower burnout and greater business longevity. This elevated public awareness of the need to support Black women founders not just with capital, but with wellness, community, and structural support. It helped normalize the idea that sustainable success requires boundaries, rest, and systems, not endless personal sacrifice. Finally, let's talk about Dr. Joy Harden Bradford and therapy for Black girls. Dr. Joy is a Black licensed psychologist based in Atlanta who noticed that many of her clients and community members struggled to find therapists who got it culturally. She also observed how Black women, especially professionals and high achievers, were carrying intense stress while still performing at high levels, smiling through the pain, leading through the exhaustion, holding it together when everything inside them was falling apart. Black women often face stigma around therapy and mental health, as well as cultural expectations to be strong, resilient, and self sacrificing. There was a gap in mental health resources that spoke directly to Black women's experiences in workplaces, relationships, and entrepreneurial spaces. Many Black women professionals lacked therapists who understood racial stress, workplace microaggressions, and intersectional pressures. Untreated stress, anxiety, and depression were impacting career performance, leadership confidence, and life satisfaction. In response, Dr. Joy launched the Therapy for Black Girls podcast in 2017, initially as a way to reach more women with psychoeducation and encouragement. The site includes a therapist directory to help Black women find culturally competent providers who understand their lived experience. The podcast regularly addresses issues such as burnout, imposter syndrome, boundary setting, and perfectionism in ways that are approachable and grounded in Black women's realities. Therapy for Black girls uses accessible language and storytelling to show that seeking help, resting, and being vulnerable are strengths, not weaknesses. Therapy for Black girls has grown into a widely respected mental health resource with a large audience of Black women professionals, students, and entrepreneurs. Many listeners report that the platform helped them seek therapy, set boundaries at work, leave toxic jobs, and prioritize their well being. The brand has collaborated with media and health organizations, expanding conversations about Black women's mental health in mainstream spaces. Dr. Joy helps shift the narrative that going to therapy or needing support is a sign of weakness. Instead, it's framed as a proactive, powerful choice. She supported Black women in making career and business decisions that align with their mental health, leaving harmful environments, changing business models, stepping back from overwork. She contributed to a broader cultural movement where Black women are encouraged to embrace emotional softness, vulnerability, and community as essential to their success. So, what does all of this mean for you right now, today? In this moment, it means that softness is not something you have to earn. It's not a luxury. It's not a reward for when you've finally done enough. Softness is your birthright. It's your strategy. It's your power. It's your revolution. It means that the world has been lying to you. They told you that your value is in your productivity, your endurance, your ability to carry everyone else's burdens without breaking. But the truth is, your value is in your humanity, your wholeness, your right to rest, to heal, to be soft, to be free. It means that you don't have to wait for permission. You don't have to wait until the business is stable, until the kids are grown, until the promotion comes, until the debt is paid. You can choose softness right now. You can choose rest right now. You can choose yourself right now. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to stop proving that you're strong. I want you to stop performing resilience for a world that profits from your pain. I want you to design a life and a business that protect your softness, that honor your limits, that celebrate your rest. What's one concrete boundary, rest practice, or support system you would put in place this week? What's the very first step you're willing to take in the next 24 to 48 hours to make it real? Name that one action. Maybe it's ending work at a set time. Maybe it's saying no to one extra project. Maybe it's booking a therapy consult. Maybe it's building in a weekly rest block. Whatever it is, name it, write it down, speak it out loud, and then commit to telling at least one trusted person about it so you're not carrying the shift alone, because your softness is not selfish. Your rest is not lazy. Your boundaries are not rude. Your softness is how you survive. Your rest is how you lead. Your boundaries are how you build a life worth living. The world is waiting for you to burn out. Don't give them the satisfaction. Choose softness, choose rest, choose you, and watch how everything changes.